Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the Worlds Collide podcast.
It's nice to be here.
It's nice to be here. Give us 5 stars, please.
Please. We're so thirsty for it.
Please.
We'll do just about anything.
So this is the first...
Somebody told me we should run contests for stars.
Oh, likes, follows for follows, likes for likes?
Yeah, or win a date with me. I'm
great.
just kidding.
Actually, you know what would be really fun is if we actually ended up, we should auction off a spot for one of my maternity leave episodes.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Just stick you with a random person.
Yeah, like a guest host.
Yeah, but like a really, like best case scenario is a person nobody's met before.
This would be really great. Yeah, and we can even Zooms it. Those lights are good. Sometimes they're red, sometimes they're green.
Yeah, we're good.
That's great.
Good. Okay, so
let's hit the questions. What did everybody say?
So we got some Q&A this episode.
Okay.
And so I put out an APB on Instagram for some questions.
Okay.
And we got some great ones.
Okay.
We got some wild ones.
Okay.
And we got some great ones. And I'm not going to curate any of them.
Okay, I hope we can get to all of them, but let's see what we got.
Okay. Question number 1.
Okay.
Koreans hate the Japanese.
Okay, is that a statement or a question?
That's a fact.
Okay, that is a fact.
Ukrainians hate Russians.
I've heard this.
Who do the Albanians hate?
Everybody knows.
I know. Well, it depends, right?
Yeah, it depends on,
It depends on what you're asking.
Okay, this is true.
Overall, first of all, Worlds Collide would like to say we don't hate
anybody. We love everybody.
We're pro all humans.
This is true, but honestly, it's a take your pick. It's Turks, it's Greeks, it's Serbians.
We're an irritable people. We're an overall irritable people, but top 3 are probably Serbs, Turks, and Greeks.
Serbs, Turks, Greeks.
Although it depends. If you're in the South, they love the Greeks. They're speaking Greek.
That's true. They speak Greek and they act a little bit more Greek, right?
So I guess it kind of depends.
I know. We have some of our favorite Greeks.
We do. We have a couple of top-notch Greeks to listen to this podcast, and I would hate to chase them away. So, but you guys know how you
shout out to the real Easter, right, guys?
Not only that, but they feel the same way about Albanians.
I know. That's fair.
I dated a Greek once, and literally I was at their kitchen table with his aunt, and his aunt was like talking about somebody, and she was like, "Oh, it's so and so," and they were like, "Oh yeah, aren't they Greek?" And she goes, "No, they're not Greek. They're Albanian." And I was like, "Oh, gross!
Ew!
That would be disgusting."
Yeah. Do you remember when we went to Greece and Panos, our cab driver?
Oh yes,
told us to watch out for the Greeks.
To watch out for the Albanians. Yeah,
for the Albanians. That's
what we asked him if we were staying in a nice part of town, and he said no because it's filled with Albanians. And we both just like
cowered and just said
sunk back in our chairs.
Did not claim it.
So anyway, great question. I feel like we answered it.
That was a good one. Yeah. Okay, I like it.
Question number 2.
Okay.
Are you clones? And is that a new clone that you are baking? So,
what's funny? Mom has been hard on the clone thing for years.
Oh, yeah. Clones, holograms.
Yeah. Who's a clone? Who's a hologram?
Yeah. Remember the great, for a while they were saying that Biden was cloned? That we were not getting the real Biden?
Yeah, but really they just squirted that guy up. Yeah. I can see how
they just uppers
unrecognizable. Yeah. It's very nice for somebody to ask that, considering, do you remember many years ago in Seattle, someone asked if I was your mother? And I went...
That was the end of the day. We had to tuck in for the day.
Ended.
I think we just went back to the hotel room and we're like, you know what? We'll try again tomorrow. I think that's what happened. Yeah, it was some stoner. It was clearly like we were at a weed shop. Some stoner asked.
We are 9 years and 9 days apart. I remember the day she was born. She came in at 6 p.m. like a true gentle lady, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't disrupting anybody's life in any sort of way.
In after work and before bed.
That's right. And I changed her diapers. And full circle moment is I changed her son's diapers.
Thank you.
It's very sweet.
Thank you. But we're not clones. I feel like I don't want to avoid the question too hard because it makes it seem like maybe we are.
Right. Is that a clone? I think that's probably the more important question.
No, this is just an old-fashioned human baby made the old-fashioned human baby way. P&B. The old-fashioned human baby unplanned way. So
unplanned pregnancies are the best.
Question number 3, by far my favorite question.
Okay.
Not a question, just a statement. CEO killer.
Okay. Are we talking about Luigi?
That one came from number 1 Mike Tsatsai.
Oh, Tsatsai, what's up, dude? Tell us when we can come to your birthday.
He said next year we're invited to his birthday.
Wow, seeing him really crush on that Dance Dance Revolution game was insane.
Yeah.
He is a basketball player and light
Light on his feet. Light on his feet. Yeah, he's been dangling his birthday over my head basically since I've known him.
I know.
And next year he says, I'm in. I'm finally in.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we know this too. Mike had to dance so that Booba could twirl.
Yeah.
That's
We're just going to do a podcast of inside jokes with our cousins.
I'm sorry. Thank you, cousins, for listening.
Okay, next question.
Okay.
Somebody asked, clearly a very lovely human who does not listen to the podcast wants to know the gender of baby number 2.
We're going to wait for it to tell you the gender.
In 10 years.
Yeah, he's going to tell you what he thinks he is.
It's a boy.
We even have a name, maybe. Luigi.
Dad got hyped when I told him Luigi was back in the running.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay, question number 5. This one's a long one. I think. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Yo. Do I believe in reincarnation?
Are you in?
Can I tell you, I was at a Christmas party a couple weeks ago, and one of the yoga teachers was saying her grandson told them that before he came here, that a tree fell on him. They saw a tree that was fallen like after the hurricane or whatever. And he turned to his family and he said, before I came here, he said, a tree fell on me. And, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. Were they like,
yeah, they were super
in?
like, yeah, they
That's
were
cool.
They were totally in. They wanted more details and whatever. And I've heard that kids say this, right? And that if you wait enough time, they kind of forget.
Yeah, there seems to be like a kind of golden age where they can remember.
Yeah.
So you do. You're all in.
Yeah. You?
I think so.
I've done a past life regression though, so I don't want to shame myself here. But one of my past lives, I remember a dinosaur egg, and the lady in my trance was like shaming me. She's like, "I'm sorry, what? You see a dinosaur egg?" And I was like, "Yeah. In my past lives, humans and dinos coexist
Together?
Coexist. Yeah. Why is that so wild?
You know, it's not if you don't believe in evolution. It's actually right on brand for if you're a creationist. Creationists believe that humans and dinosaurs coexisted.
God made them, right? Is that a creationist? Who are creationists exactly?
Yeah,
what
God,
do they
the
align
baby
with?
God. They
God
made
of
'em.
babies? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love God more than anything.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
But yeah, apparently, so that actually kind of checks out. If anybody's wondering, that's a point in the column for creationism. That's a point,
Past
baby.
life regressions. Yeah. And I had some other ones too that I remember, and I realized in all of them, solo dolo.
I did a past life regression too, but you did the one where they hypnotize you. I've never done that.
Yeah.
The one I did was like I don't know, her last name was like Starhawk or something. So like, she, we were doing some more, just loose in a.
Yeah. Mine's last name was not that.
Yeah. But I was going to say, so the one I did was just like somebody chit-chatting, and I was like, I could see that. Like, I feel like that's kind of how I feel about most new agey stuff. Whenever I'm introduced to it, I'm always like, I could see that.
Yeah.
Would I like ride or die for it? No, I'm open to whatever could be the possible answer.
But I do like those shows, you've seen it, where like a kid's like, I was a World War II pilot, and he like makes the family go back and shows them where he was and all this. Yeah. That kind of stuff is like,
there's something to it for sure.
There is
whether it's like a shared memory or right, because that could also be a thing where maybe
Akashic Records
stuff.
stuff.
They're dipping into shared consciousness, right? So like, I don't know that I'm necessarily all in on the reincarnation thing, but I'm open. I like it.
Yeah, I keep saying to your son, I said it to him earlier in the car, I was like, can you just learn to talk so you can tell me where you were before you came here?
That would be cool. That would be cool as hell. Well, that's another thing, right? So like, I have more open interest in when people pass and being able to still communicate with them.
Yeah.
And so I always wonder kind of how that fits with reincarnation.
Yeah, me too. What is time even, right? I think the linear time thing that we look at is probably totally
maybe that's
off.
what it is.
Possibly?
Yeah, because if I feel like I'm still in contact with somebody who's passed, then I don't want to feel like they're slurped up into a new life somewhere else.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe it's just my thing.
Right, that all things exist at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what I like to believe.
Cool. Okay, I hope that's a sufficient answer.
Yeah. Wow, pretty deep.
It was a good question.
This.
It was a good question.
Okay.
Okay. This is a fun one. This is clearly for a listener only, a non-video watcher.
Okay.
Are both sisters embracing the gray? I'm loving it as a fellow Silver sister.
Oh, shout out Silver Sister.
Yes.
5 years?
Yeah. We quit in December 2019.
Yeah, 5 years and counting. It was so hard in the beginning.
Oh, it was the worst.
The halfway thing was like...
It was the worst. And then the best thing ever happened. COVID.
Yeah. And so everybody thought we did it because of COVID, but we didn't.
No, we had started like a couple months before.
Yeah.
And
it was nice to do it together.
Mm-hmm. And then there was other people that I met during COVID who like their grades were starting to show, and I was like, do it. Because it's kind of like, It's kind of like when you have kids or when you're in a cult, you just want the people around you to do it too. You know, you just become very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was really pushing other people to do it, and I inspired nobody.
Nobody.
I mean, random people in grocery stores will like stop me and tell me that they're inspired to do it, but
yeah, it's never anybody. For sure, nobody from our culture.
No, everybody hates it.
They all hate it. Every Albanian does not like it. We're cool.
Do you ever have dreams that somebody's dyed your hair?
Yeah, actually, recently I did. And I was like, "Oh, son of a bee," because it sets you back.
I literally was like, "It's gonna take forever to get it back."
That's why I would never, ever, ever, and I mean that, color my hair again, because it takes so long for the grow out.
Yeah,
it's not worth it.
Yeah, I actually followed other women on Instagram
to get inspired.
Yeah, of like, hey. This is what it's going to look like a few months in.
Yeah.
Just hold on.
And you want to see people of your age bracket growing it out too.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of inspiring where you're like, you can kind of make it look cool and it doesn't have to be like matronly.
Yeah. Although I do feel a added pressure to always make sure that my hair looks coiffed in some way. Because I never want somebody to think I'm just like a messy person who like.
Oh, and that's why you didn't color it.
Forgot to dye my hair, you know? Like, oh. I blinked.
But it's all grown out. So
yeah,
nobody's going to think that. I think it's nice. I think it looks very beautiful.
Thanks. We did some weird stuff in between though. Remember when you were wrapping your head for a long time?
Oh my God. Like Tupac Shakur. Yeah. I was
going to say Chiquita Banana, but yeah, it did have the tie in the front like a Tupac.
Tie in the front like Tupac, but it was more Chiquita Banana. I had those like, they make those rubes and malsi, those scarves, but ours were, I think, were from Palestine. But I used to tie my hair up in them, and I thought it looked really cool.
It did. It looked really
and
cute.
I rocked like a nose ring, so that was like a big thing that I did in the grout phase to be like, listen, guys, I'm cool.
Yeah, this is
on purpose. This is on purpose. Yeah, but I feel like we've kind of like settled into it. Now we're just our regular selves.
Yeah, and now I really dig it, and it's fun because other people will come up and say nice things about my gray hair. I mean, I'm sure everybody who's not saying anything nice about my gray hair thinks it's disgusting. Yeah, I'm sure they absolutely hate it. But for the handful of people who come up to me and tell me how much they like it, it is very sweet.
I'll never forget, like every Albanian, if they see one person with gray hair, they're like, why would they do that?
I got mistaken over the summer at an Albanian wedding for somebody twice my age. They were like, you're so-and-so's wife. I was like, nope. That's a little bit rude, actually. But I could see why, because she also has gray hair. And she's also very cool. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is nice when you see a fellow silver sister in the wild.
Yeah. So
yeah, shout out to our girl. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And watching.
This one's heavy.
Okay.
Why doesn't Polina want kids? Just coming out swinging on the pod. Polina?
Oh gosh, why don't I want kids?
Is it because you have the greatest nephew of all time?
I do. I have the greatest nephew of all time. I think I had a good hand in raising you and Tony. A good hand, not the hard hand, but the good hand. So that was really fulfilling to see and experience and stuff. It's a few reasons, I think. I'm trying to like pinpoint maybe what the one thing. Freedom, maybe, is the biggest thing. And I know I don't want to say it to like tell you that your freedoms are gone forever and ever until the end of time.
They are.
But there is a level of that you really have to dedicate to being a parent, right? And that forever now you're always going to be like, huh? You're always like going to be worried. And I was thinking, as a parent, you just forever worry about your kids. And I don't know that I ever wanted to worry about my kids and that
fair.
kind of stuff too. Yeah. And truth be told, I think it's very different when you meet somebody where you're like, this is the coolest person in the world that I would love to create another human with them.
I think that's the big one.
And I don't know that I ever felt, I've dated cool people and met cool people, but I don't know that I ever found, say, the one where I'm like, this is the guy that I would like to have all the kids with. It would be worth it for me to trade in my free lifestyle for.
Yeah, I mean, again,
but the offer is out there. So if my true love is out there,
perhaps
maybe I will bear your children.
Perhaps we can turn the tides.
Shout out Spud Warmo. Just kidding.
I have not planned these pregnancies. They have happened.
Unplanned pregnancies.
They have happened through the good grace of our Lord. And so because of that, my husband and I like to say that anybody who plans to have children or has sex to have children are perverts.
Perverts.
We think they are full-blown perverts because, I think like, who's doing that?
Yeah, no, I'm very happy for the people that are. I do have the greatest nephew in the world. It literally is the best being an aunt. Yeah, man. choose your own adventure. You know, I feel like past lives, speaking of past lives, in one of my past life regressions, I remember I was like in with a baby or whatever, and I was not happy. So I don't know if that's something or
affecting moving forward.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. But I remember thinking like, I don't want this life. Yeah. But I get that it's a beautiful and fulfilling life for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's great. It is definitely great. And also when people say they don't want to do it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that.
Right.
I mean, for people who say they don't want to do it and then they also really love their pet, I'm like, you have no idea how much you would love a kid. If you think you love your pet, like, holy moly, you would really love
I know,
a kid.
and I feel
but
like
you also don't have pets.
I don't have pets. I don't have plants. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's just not my. I get that it's so, and I love them. It's not that I don't. I loved your dog and I love your son, and it's I'm so freaking there for them, and I miss them when I don't see them.
Yeah.
But it is nice to live I live in the season of perpetual hope. I think that's what Christmas is. All right. I live in joy. Yeah. Perpetual hope in that. I feel like when you have kids, sort of everything's dictated. You kind of know what's up for the next 18 years versus for me, I'm like, anything can happen. What could it be?
Well, we like to live on the wild side of things as well. So I don't know quite what's in store for us, but I will say that I think that, I mean, generally, I know.
You can't change your mind. I change my mind a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, generally, I know what time nap time and bedtime is every day.
Sure.
So, like, anything's possible, but also nap time and bedtime are pretty strong around here. So, I definitely know what you mean by that. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably why I also don't commit to like a house or anything else too. I just like the excitement of never knowing what's next.
Yeah. You're in your strong period of freedom.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks for the question.
We have another one.
Okay.
It's not directed at you, but I think it is for you.
Okay.
Because I did find out this summer how you feel about these. So the question is, what do you think about RFK Jr. potentially getting rid of the amazing Uncrustables? I found out this summer Paulina, the healthiest eater I know, loves and crushes if she can get her hands on them.
Never had one. It was my first time.
This summer was the first time you had one?
It's the first time that I ever had an Uncrustable in my life.
You rode hard for it immediately.
I rode hard for it. I didn't know this. Shout out Jody and Jason who introduced me to one. They said you take it out of the freezer, you wrap it in a paper towel. I don't know that they told me this, but I did. I put it in my pocket. I went for a bike ride. And during middle of the bike ride, I pulled the Uncrustable out, unwrapped it from the paper towel, and then ate it. And it was heaven on earth.
Warmed against your body?
It was heaven on earth. I had no idea that I had been missing these things all this time.
I also had an Uncrustable this summer shortly after you did for the first time because you were singing its praises.
Delicious, is it not?
They're pretty good. We had it, our cousins put it in the air fryer. That was actually not too bad.
I liked it soft, on your body. But why would RFK take them away? What's happening here?
1,000 ingredients.
I like, Jack Cruz has been going hard on like Casey and Callie Means about this, that they're focusing so much on food so that everybody's like, look over here. Mm-hmm. Amber Heard shit in the bed so that no one notices that it's the vaccines that are killing everybody.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been wondering, and I know Joel Salatin talked about this recently too, about as much as I'm like all for like talking about what's in your food, I think it's more important that we tell everybody like, hey, this is in your food, like how they have on the cigarette packets, like with a tumor, or like the mouth cancer and stuff. Like if they have that on the back of cereal, like to show you like what these different ingredients do I think that's more important to me than taking it off the market, because I don't know that I love the idea of like a nanny state of like the government coming in and telling you can't sell this, because it just becomes a bit of a slippery slope.
Sure.
But I think if you like, look, there are people who still pick up the cigarette pack even with the mouth
pick
cancer.
Your poison. We've talked about this, right?
Right. It's up to them. It's totally your choice.
Lucky. Pick your poison.
Okay, we've got another one.
Happy New Year. Yeah.
This one is not for us. In fact, I will be shocked if either one of us can name one. Who is your favorite Harry Potter character?
I don't know any, but shout out to Natalie. Natalie used to like Harry Potter.
Yeah, our cousin Natalie was obsessed with Harry Potter, and so when she was going through cancer treatments, I had committed to watching all the Harry Potter movies.
I told her I was going to read the book.
I read it in 4th grade and I was like, this is for babies, and never read it again. And she used to get so pissed at me when I would say it. So I committed to watching the movies, but then I would live blog my thoughts on the movies to her.
Okay.
And she liked it until she didn't like it, because at some point I was talking too much shit.
Okay.
Because I was like, if these kids just had like a couple of adults in charge, I think this whole thing would be game over.
Okay.
And she did not like my criticisms.
So what I wondered is, I never really watched it, or I just told her I was going to read it. I think I borrowed it and then I gave it back. I never read it. It's just not my thing. I don't like fantasy. I like living in my own fantasy world, and my fantasies are very different than Harry Potter's. Do you know?
So yes, our favorite Harry Potter character is none of them. And I'm so sorry.
Is none of them. No, but what I did like was there was like a girl that went to school with all the boys, and that would be fun for me.
There were other girls there too, but she's just kind of in
she
the
was
crew.
Just the main.
Yeah, I never finished them. I did watch the first few and then I gave up.
Yeah, and as somebody who doesn't have guy friends, it always
you were just so excited to be that she got to bro down.
Bro down, yeah. I wish that a group of guys would invite me in as a friend and just be like, "Do you want to just be bros?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, let's do this.
Be bros, do magic."
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. Next question: how do I get out of the corporate system? It's a great question. We could put a whole episode on that.
That really is a whole episode. I feel like we should parlay that into a whole episode. A few ways: you get pregnant by a king. And you become a trad wife.
You stay home.
Right? That's one way.
That's one way.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a really great way.
Yeah. It's the cheat code.
I was telling somebody the other day that you're a trad wife, and they didn't believe me.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, no, she is. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, she lived a whole life beforehand and had like a corporate job and a nice 6-figure salary and did the whole thing. But I'm like, now she's full trad. Yeah. But he was telling me, this person said, no, that's not a trad wife. A trad wife is somebody who's like 22 and does that. So you're a little old.
Out of trad?
You aged out of trad wife.
Oh shit. That's actually somehow more hurtful. I'm too old to be a trad wife. I'm just a nice lady in her middle 30s just hanging out, taking care of my husband, but not trad.
But I think you really fell out.
I think the implication is I'm not hot enough to be a trad wife.
No, that's not true. You have to be like that model that is married to that guy, and she's like, and Lucky wanted some Coca-Cola, so I made him Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. My other problem too is I don't think I have the voice for a trad wife.
You don't.
I've been watching the Dougars.
Someone with an extra drop of tea on this side as well. I don't know that somebody's looking to us to be
literally, like, legit. I've been watching this Dougars documentary, and the mom Dougar is always like, "Hi, my babies, my husband.
Nice.
I talk like this."
No.
And every time I see a lady talk like that, I'm like, "Oh, why couldn't that be me? Why do I talk like this?"
Yeah, honestly, if I could drop my voice an octave, I probably would be, or when up an octave. Yeah. And for me, it was a little different. You know, I didn't get a king to
unseat you out of the corporate world.
Unseat me out of the corporate world. No, but you know what? I'll tell you who had a key part in this was Dr. Anthony Fauci.
Tony.
The real Anthony Fauci. It was during Corby, and I was working a corporate job, and I thought, I can't play pretend with these people anymore. If somebody tells me one more time about what Fauci said, I'm like, this guy? You mean the AIDS Ponzi scheme guy? You mean the guy who there's a mass grave of 100 kids currently at that Hawthorne Gates of Heaven cemetery where he tried these AIDS pharmaceuticals on them and then killed all these foster kids and nobody knows where they are? You can look for them, find them. I just couldn't play pretend anymore, so I decided to quit my job. And then, oh shit, I've got a mortgage and a house on the water. I don't want it, either of them. So I went to dinner with my friends, and they said, would you ever sell this house? And I was like, sure. Take it. It's not on the market. But I'm like, you want this? It's like somebody is like, do you trying to take your husband or what? I'd be like, take him, please. I don't want this thing. And they did. And that set me on a path. So at that point I was jobless, homeless, and on a free bird path.
Yeah, whenever you came to stay with me for a couple months right afterwards, and I was telling everybody, I was like, she's jobless and homeless, but she's rich. Don't worry about her. Do not worry
Don't
about
start
her.
rumors. I'm not. That's how you get robbed, Ange.
Oh.
I have
you don't have a permanent address. How are they going to rob you?
That's right. Nobody knows where I am. We probably asked me for my address the other day, and I was like, we're going to have to believe that. I was like,
I have all your mail sent to moms.
Always, right? Literally, people just send things to moms.
Send all the fan mail for pulling into our mom's house.
Yeah, please. Love letters go to moms. I like to stay under the radar.
Mm-hmm. We've got some more questions.
More questions.
This one's kind of a fun one. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why? And if you'd like me to go first,
I would love for you to go first. Wow,
we've talked about it in my household before because we watch a lot of Encanto.
What's your gift?
So the thing is if you could have one of the gifts from Encanto,
okay.
For me, it was like a no-brainer.
You want to be the strong sister that carries donkeys?
No.
Oh. I'm always confused news about that one. I don't like her.
No, she's got a banger of a song on that.
Okay.
No, I would like to have, and then in general, like even outside of Encanto rules,
Okay.
I would like this superpower.
Okay.
The mom is able to heal anything and anyone with food.
Oh, that's a real superpower? Who is that? The
Mom.
grandma?
That's the mom.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually very sweet.
Yeah. I think it's the coolest. I think that would.
I think that's what moms do, is heal everything with. Our mom was really good at it.
Sure, but I mean it for real. Like she's at like there's a guy and his like arms all broken and he eats an arepa and it's like
From an arepa? That's what's healing?
It would be nice. It would be nice if that was the case. You hope it's non-GMO corn and no seed oils, but you get what you get. But yeah, that would probably be mine. I would really love to be able to heal people. I think that would be cool.
If I had a superpower, a super PAC. Is that the same thing where just a bunch of people give me money?
Funding?
A ton of funding.
Yeah. Your superpower would be just a ton of funding.
Yeah, my superpower would be a super PAC. Is that a bunch of people just give me money and then I wouldn't even know what to do with it. I literally talked about this today in yoga, is that we were saying how kids need like boundaries and they operate better in a little bit of boundaries. And I realized I was the same way. So when I did quit my job and I was totally free and I did have some money, it was almost too free. You almost need a little bit of like something, grit or something to make it like
you gotta be somewhere. You gotta have hardship. You gotta
yeah. And I hate to be somewhere. I hate a schedule more than anything.
If it's on the calendar,
I don't want to do it.
There it is.
I don't want to do it. But I think the last few years of like teaching yoga has been really good for me to like make me show up somewhere and be more. So the superpower would be. I don't know. I feel like I'm living my dream of a superpower. I don't know I don't know what to say. Oh, it's to make some of my dreams come true. I make most of my dreams come true, but there's some of them that are still just bubbling at the surface.
Okay.
I'm excited for those to come true.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe to wish you to be a better driver.
Oh. No. Okay, super PAC. Give me a driver. Who needs? I'm a passenger princess. Shout out Booba. I'm a passenger princess too. Yeah, I love to be driven. And if a man is looking to step up into my life and make things maybe a little bit more like, what can he do for me? Drive me.
Mm-hmm.
Drive me around. Mm-hmm. I would love a driver.
And your insurance company would love if you had a driver.
I think my insurance company would too. Right now they're getting a lot of money from me.
Yeah.
A lot of money. But when I lived in Santa Monica, I did sell my car for a few years and I was driven around strictly by Ubers and
I think was the nail in the coffin for you. I think that is what...
Of giving zero fucks?
I think it's what made you like a worse driver.
Maybe worse.
I think so, because I think you went 5 years out of practice.
It's not nice to say that I'm not a good driver. That's a rumor.
You are I
think you've said
whimsical person.
I like that.
Who is not typically always involved in the road ahead of you.
If I'm by myself, yes. But if there's other people I like to really be there with a person. I like to be there.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get into accidents by yourself too.
That's true. They're always small. But
yeah, never anything major.
I know, but before you besmirch my name, can you go on record as saying that maybe I'm the best co-captain?
You're a great co-captain.
Thank you. Yeah. Angie's an excellent driver, if anybody's wondering. Excellent. Somebody called Geico. She's the best.
Yeah, well, it's still very expensive to have car insurance in Florida, even if you're the best driver in your
That's a whole nother scam.
Yeah, big time. We got one more question. We gotta wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
When are we going to Albania with travel pockets?
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that fun?
That's good. I would like to go.
We wanted to go next summer.
End of next summer.
Look like it's happening.
Okay, why?
Because I wanted to go next summer for our stepbrother's wedding, but on the way back from Dad's most recent flight to Albania, he said there was two Indian babies, screaming at the top of their lungs.
Oh, so they don't want to.
I was like, what are Indian babies doing on the way back from Albania? And he's like, no, London. That makes more sense.
Oh, because they go London to Tampa.
They went through London, yeah.
Okay, well that's fair.
And he basically was just like, don't put your kids through that. They were miserable.
So the famous travel pockets, they've traveled the globe. They've been everywhere, including Chernobyl. So we're like, what better place to show them than Albania and Montenegro? Mm-hmm. I would love to give them a tour.
Yeah, I hope it's next summer. I don't think it's going to happen. It might be the year after that.
That is not nice. We can't keep waiting this long, Ange. Strap that baby on and let's effing go.
Okay. Well, let's see when this baby comes out if he's like chill.
He's going to be so chill.
He's chill.
He's going to be so chill. I think your first son came out to really, test you. I think you thought life was a breeze up until that point. You were just like, when you cut the wrapping paper and it just,
everything was easy.
Smooth sailing for you.
Yeah.
You had an easy life, Ange.
Yeah, it's been easy.
You needed to be humbled a little bit.
I got big time humbled. I got like hella humbled.
Yeah.
My son is like the most fiery little human I've ever met in my life. He makes me seem passive and docile. He is out of control. In my mind, I thought being with a baby at home was going to be like wearing him and like making meals and singing. Like I didn't know that it was going to be like pressing the button over and over to keep playing Under the Sea because it's the only thing that calms him down.
And then all of a sudden he became afraid of Under the Sea. That was confusing.
He's back to loving Under the Sea, if you're wondering. So there's that. But anyway, sorry.
Okay.
All that aside, you assume being a mom is going to be one thing, and then like
it's not
always what you think it's going to be. So we have to wait until this baby comes out before we make any promises. Those are the questions.
That was a very nice way to wrap it. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You and I are going into a 7-year.
Okay.
Numerology. Okay, so everybody, we are on a 7-life path. So that's like an internal search, a seeking, a spiritual path. So a 7 years is going to be more of that, right? Learning, maybe planning more than doing, going inward. And then 8 years. Money. So it's money and accolades, 8 years.
Oh, nice. The podcast is going to really take off in 2026 is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all are on the ground floor.
Yeah, welcome to the ground floor of the top 10% podcast on Spotify.
Give us 5 stars. Please, we need it right now. We're not going to be asking in 2026, okay? We're not going to be asking for the piddly 5 stars in 2026.
We're not even gonna, you're gonna be so happy that
2025, we need it, so please.
Yeah. Shout out to Lou Pearlman for the outfit.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Knock mics. I love you. God bless you.